Old man Doyle.
Yeah, so what was worse, when I came in here with 2 crutches and put them on the table, or when Doyle rolled in here with like a modern art cane?
Doyle over here.
It's just so on brand.
Go Canes, baby.
So on brand.
Go Canes. Can you ever leave this at home now, or is this just a forever accessory?
He actually isn't injured. He just got a cane. He's been faking the whole time.
Oh, extra time starts now. Oh, from New York, you are listening to Extra Time, driven by Continental from the AT&T MLS studios in Midtown Manhattan. I am Andrew Wiebe with my partners in soccer, Susannah Collins, David Gass, and drum roll, please. Bang
but not too loud because you don't want to affect his feet.
That's right.
Yeah, just
Lift
humbly.
your canes in the air. Matt Doyle.
Yeah.
He of... 2 broken feet. Mm-hmm. He who sits and does not stand. Mm-hmm. He who is not allowed on the subway. He who is back with us once again and wearing all black grandpa shoes.
Yeah.
And has a cane.
And yes, the cane
Which
cannot
is
be overstated.
so perfect and on brand. Like you're glowing.
Yeah.
Like
well, as are you. And like when I got back to work today, the universal support I received, not just from you guys, but from, Anders and Chris and Thomas and Eric, everybody in the bullpen about the cane. I've never experienced anything like people are really, really into the cane.
Here for it.
It almost makes you think about just keeping that forever.
Yeah.
You were making points in the rundown meeting and just kind of banging it on the ground.
Yeah,
just kind of banging it like a gal.
It does feel pretty natural, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Where did you get it? Is this one you chose? Was it
No.
given to you?
This was
because it has a nice sort of.
Well, you also
I don't know, like
color coordinated
a
today with this outfit.
swirl on it. I want to say.
Yeah, for those of you listening to a podcast, Matt Doyle is holding a cane.
Correct. YouTube is your friend right
it's
now,
like
so go check that out.
maroon with a little bit of black swirl. No, this was picked up by my lovely wife when she went on a treasure hunt through the neighborhood, but really she just went to the pharmacy to get me some painkillers and a cane. It works. It folds up a little bit as well, so it's very travelable.
You're like Daredevil.
Yes, I have gotten that mentioned a couple of times as well. Yeah, I'm like Daredevil. It fits everything about, I think, who I am as a person at this stage
I kind of feel
in my
like we
life.
should mic up the cane because you just keep banging it, and I kind of want that in the show. We have a good one.
Anytime I make a point.
Exactly. We have a good show coming for you. We have 2 strikers and one of the best attackers in Major League Soccer, Sebastian Blanco. We'll get us started here in a little bit. I did ask him about that playoff game when they couldn't figure out away goals. Had a good time with him on that one, and much, much more about acclimating
He's probably
to MLS in the U.S.
pissed that he finally figured it out and then they changed it.
Yeah, he had a good time with it. I'll let him tell the story. Just wait for that. CJ Sapong will also join us. We talked about his viewpoint on life. He's a thinker. He's a meditator. He's a guy who may or may not have crystals at home that he believes in the energy of. I love CJ. He's so interesting, very intelligent. And then also Lucas Cavallini of the Vancouver Whitecaps to talk about his new home as well as Canada. So look forward to those.
El Tanque.
El Tanque. It's a good one. We'll get right into this, though. Let's talk first about our new goal queen. 185 goals. Christine Sinclair, yes, sir. Canadian legend of international soccer. Number 1, Abby Wambach behind her. In her wake now. Abby did tweet out some congrats to her. So we just wanted to start by congratulating her for what is
been
an
on this
incredible.
show.
Awesome.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Gave us a nice Portland Thorns preview a few years back.
Truly.
And I didn't realize it. So and this might be wrong because I forget who I saw it from, but apparently she's never even been nominated for World Player of the Year, which is kind of wild when you think about how long she's been doing it at like such a high level. And this Canada team has been really good for a long time,
but not great.
I guess that's what it is.
And in no fault of her own. And I think they have a good generation coming through, and it'll go down as like she paved that way.
Yep.
But they never peaked under her, and it is like they never peaked around her.
Yeah,
is the best way to put it, which I feel bad about because we definitely screwed them out of a Olympic medal at Wembley Stadium, or in Newcastle, wherever it was.
I probably don't feel that bad about it.
Some people do.
Let's get into it, and this is the last time we're going to talk about it. You are kind of like a grumpy old man right now, Doyle, and the final bit of grumpiness about my 10 biggest signings in MLS history happens right now. You did come at me in the text messages. You did come at me in the group chat.
You took some serious heat on Twitter too, man.
I leaned into
People
it.
were not
I
happy.
locked the sauna door and just
beanie
sweated it out.
is lined with asbestos.
In fairness, I think we gave it to him before the list came out and warned him, and then he still went with bad decisions.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a secondary thing. Again, I didn't think that this would be the thing that people latched onto.
Like calling it the 10 biggest signings and then using some nebulous, pretty weak definition of what biggest means and changing it from one to another. You didn't think that would get under people's skin?
I didn't.
You thought you knew it would
didn't-
get
I
under
didn't-
people's
I
skin.
didn't think.
Everybody calls
I
me
didn't
the
think.
troll.
Nice.
And then you write that.
Well, you know what? You were not under the bridge. You were out wherever in your apartment limping around. So I had to occupy the space left by you.
So Weeby saw a vacuum and he
Exactly.
looked to fill it.
Right.
Well, you know,
Look at that.
something about power vacuums. You gotta take your chance.
Is that a power vacuum?
I don't know. That's a compliment to you. You
Okay,
should just
I
accept
appreciate that.
All right,
Yes,
what was
thank
wrong?
you.
What did I get wrong? What am I wrong about?
So I think, look, Beckham #1, obvious. Chicharito #2.
Your computer.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Off-season form here. Chicharito #2, there's obviously the argument. Zlatan #3, feels high. Feels very high to me, but I get it because you used, again, the weasel word biggest and did not actually define it. But
Also,
I think
Weeby's a stan, so
Yeah, that's
he has
true.
to put.
I am.
But I
I
think-
actually am in process of gathering my LA Galaxy shrine to bring into this studio. I just want you to know that.
I think the big issue I have with this list is that you went in the direction too hard of guys like Zlatan, Kaká, Wayne Rooney, even Blanco to an extent, Drogba, who came here at the end of their careers and really solidified the idea, the perception that some people have that this is a retirement league. And really none of those guys I listed achieved anything super meaningful while they were here.
But I did say in the column that this was not about what they achieved in Major League Soccer. It was about who they were and the profile they had the moment they signed.
So like that's what I mean. But like it's just weaselly, but that's fine. That's going to be your brand for 2020. I get it. I think the big one that you missed out
Should have
on.
never put this in the rundown.
I think the big one you missed out on is Marco Echeverri, El Diablo himself. Because if you look at what MLS is now, he was the prototype for that. He was 26 years old in the prime of his career. He had finished 3rd in South American Player of the Year voting. He was unquestionably the best player for a Bolivia team that had real aspirations to spin this generation into something great. Now, they didn't actually do that, but at the time, he was the great hope, and he came here, and he was unquestionably the best player in this league for the first 5 years. So in terms of success and in terms of showing what the league could and should be, and it took us 20 years to get back here, but thank God we are, like Marco Echeverri is it. Marco Echeverri is arguably still on Mount Rushmore of this league in terms of what the signings meant. But he doesn't, you're right, he doesn't fit your definition of biggest.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not even going to say the word. I don't want to be what you said I am. I'm done with this list. More shall come at a later date. And I think we're going to talk Echeverri in the mailbag as well.
The 10 Andrew Weebiest signings in MLS history.
Yes. That's the kind of that's the branding I like. Yes, elevate me. Elevate me. All right, let's talk about current day, and let's talk about the one preseason result that matters, kinda. We'll do this every show. So if you have a suggestion, let us know. This time it's going to be Atlanta United with a 4-0 win against the Union via goals by Pity Martinez ×2, Joseph Martinez, and an own goal. Own goal already popping up here on the Union.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so big win for them. Don't know what it means. It's preseason, but nice to see
DC
Pity score some
United
goals.
about to send Atlanta $500,000 for that own goal.
Oh, yeah. Dave Casper's like, hold on. That's my goal scorer. Okay, some news here. Per The Athletic, Cardenas reported this. Tito Villalba sold to Libertad in Paraguay. We have not yet got the confirmation on this one.
But it seems to follow the certain trend of guys who have been successful and are still in good parts of their career in Atlanta, leaving Atlanta this offseason. So it seems to make sense along what they're doing, which makes no sense in general.
It makes sense in 2019 terms. It makes no sense in 2017, 2018 terms. Is that about right?
I think I'm with you
Sort
there.
of.
I get the point David's making because they've disassembled a team that was one of the great and fun teams in MLS history. It's a different group now. And it felt like they didn't necessarily have to do that. But when you invest in a coach and you invest in his vision, you have to give him the resources he wants to build the team. I understand Frank de Boer has a certain reputation in Italy and in England, but between the mid-'90s, when Ajax were arguably the best team in the world, and this most recent Tanque era, he was their most... Ajax is one of the great teams in the world. Frank de Boer was their most successful coach over that 25-year span.
Okay, and that's fair, but when you brought him in to a team that won MLS Cup, when was the question, can you use any of what's on this team? Because you won a Major League Soccer championship, and to then have to turn over basically the entire roster outside of Joseph, because PT came after Tata. So it's really Joseph, Brad Guzan, Jeff Laurentowicz, Franco Escobar, and sort of Barco. If that was what he needed, then there had to be another coach out there who could at least connect the time a little bit. And if they go and win MLS Cup this year and PT's the best player...
He won 2 trophies last year.
Understood. With a team that he now has been taken apart.
Okay.
So was he good last year? Were they good last year?
I don't think they were particularly compelling, no, but they
Are they
won 2
still
trophies.
fun? Remember when they were fun?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, this is sort of fun if you like watching things burn from the outside.
Oh!
So for Orlando fans, they're still fun. And I'm not, and listen, I'm happy to, what's the date here? January 30th, Anders, put this down. I'm happy to replay this clip in September when they're the best team in MLS, and in November when PT Martinez wins, finals MVP and they win the championship. But it is interesting that if Frank de Boer needs to set a style or a culture or whatever it is, it was impossible to do it with 90% of the starters that won an MLS championship.
Who had a culture and a style and something.
And that are in their primes. And maybe on LGP made a little bit, but outside of that, I don't think they're making money on selling Tito Villalba, who's a rare TAM player, who's a borderline DP guy for most teams in MLS that you got on a good deal, who has an emotional connection to the club as the first goal scorer, a guy in Gressel who obviously has that connection as well. If you couldn't shape that locker room at all, that you had to completely change it, that makes me question what you do as a manager.
I also had so much buy-in from their fan base on all these guys. Like what they built off the jump. It's part of what made Atlanta so special is that the players that they chose not only were successful off the field, but connected so intimately with this sort of like early, voracious fan base that was just looking for something to latch onto. And now they're kind of out there scuffling, looking around for it, and yet they still could be one of the best teams in the league. Still could be. Now, there's other news with Atlanta United right now. And Cerro Porteño, their Santiago Arzamendia, he's a left winger, left back. They got some of those. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of room for that. And then the Brazilian midfielder from Atlético Paranaense, Mateus Rossetto. But those are not profile players. Those are not Barco pity players. That's probably okay. Maybe they become sort of like Villalba.
Yeah.
But there is a big TBD with Atlanta and what they will be, Suze.
Yeah, nothing feels like this is like moving the needle either way, Like it's just like none of these moves are going to ignite a fan base that's feeling pretty lousy right now and just kind of like
or at least confused. Maybe
Yeah,
it's lousy. I don't want to speak for them, but confused.
The few that I have spoken to are I'm not going to say like they're, at the point of like despair, but they're really they're sad because their guys are gone. And you made the point, like guys like Julian Gressel and Tito Villalba, they were like fan favorites. These fans loved them and they had such a good rapport with the strong fan base in Atlanta. And like, there's just nothing, there's outside of Joseph, it's kind of like, what excites you about this team? This used to be the most electrifying team to watch, and you knew something special was going to happen every time you watched them. And you top that off with the personalities and how that jibed with the fan base that was in place. And I'm just sort of like, it's the identity shift between what they were in 2017 and 2018 to what they are now is pretty seismic for me. Like it felt unnecessary.
How much pressure is on Frank de Boer?
I think a lot.
Sense? Like where they were and where they're going and his place in it. And not just Frank de Boer, I would argue, with the executive structure that also hired Frank. Now, look, pressure is relative. Like almost every other team in Major League Soccer are sitting around thinking, and their fan bases are thinking, well, we would love to have that sort of pressure. We would love to have the all-time greatest goal scorer. We would love to have the South American Player of the Year.
To Doyle's point, we said they had a bad year last year and they won 2 trophies.
Yeah.
Every club would kill for that.
Maybe this is more an
Seattle.
indication of, of the transition, but also sort of where Atlanta has found themselves in MLS after 3 years, which is nothing is good enough. And that's kind of what happens at clubs that have expectations at that level, right?
Yeah.
They're so high that you just never reach them, or almost never. And when you do, it creates even more of the same cycle.
Is it enough for people to still show up and pack the Benz and still have that kind of fervor?
In 2020.
Yeah.
In 2021 is when the real pressure comes.
Okay.
If they have 56, 57 points, they get to the CCL semifinals, they don't win any trophies, people will still come, people will still be excited, but 2021 will be put up or shut up.
Still a team that spent a ton of money, that has a ton of talent, that has all these expectations.
And I just want to say that the other underlying pressure is what can you get out of Barco? If Barco has 4 goals and 3 assists again in his 3rd year in the league, then that adds some pressure because they didn't buy him
that's
for
the model.
15 to sell him for 8.
Correct.
They bought him for 15 to sell him for 22.
All right, let's have a listen now to Sebastian Blanco. An incredible interview. Love sitting down with him. We'll be right back with some US-Costa Rica talk.
Much more experience. Timbers side trying to make him pay, and Blanco is through here. Blanco! Derby Day delights for Sebastian Blanco.
10 minutes with Truckee, Sebastian Blanco. Welcome. Did you bring your mask? Where's the mask, man?
Yes, not today. I arrived today, so from Argentina. So
Okay.
Too long.
Oh, really?
Yes, very long flight.
Wow. How was the off season? What did you do? How do you spend it?
Yes, we traveled to Mexico 15 days with the family. Yes, good. Sun, beach. And after traveled to Argentina 1 month and 15 days. So enjoy the family, the friends, asado.
Yeah.
I love
Back to work.
Yes,
I was
going
to ask you about asado.
Yes.
So tell me, educate me. I'm from Kansas. I think I know a little bit something about barbecue, but I don't think it's quite the same.
So it's different, the grill. The charcoal.
Open coals, yeah?
Yes, the charcoal is different, so you need more time. You use different cuts to meat, different cuts. And we use the entire ribs for the barbecue, so maybe it's 4 hours or more. But it's like a culture, a ritual. It's very, very long.
It's a fiesta.
Yeah. A fiesta, yes.
Yeah.
6,
It's
7
time
hours,
for the family
yes.
to come together, the friends,
Exactly.
everyone gets here. How
Yes.
big does it get in Argentina? How big are your asados? How many people are there? How much meat are you grilling?
The last one with my friend, I had 30. But,
I mean, you're saying 30
but
is
some
not that
place
many.
in some places more for 100 or more barbecue, so it's really, really big.
I hear that those barbecues, the asados, happen in Portland with the crew. I mean, you guys have a squad.
We try because it's different, the charcoal, but in my home I try, and Moreira like too, and Diego no cook nothing.
No? Valeri, no?
No, nothing. But I try, I like it.
Why has Portland become such a home for you, for Diego, both Diegos? I mean, it just seems like a place that I wouldn't think, this is a perfect home for Diego Valeri and his family, for Sebastian Blanco and his family. And it has turned out to be that. What is so attractive?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect place for family, for education, for everything. It's very quiet. It's very green. It's very, very nice. It's very quiet. I think for the family, it's perfect. I think maybe for us, sometimes a little boring for attractive thing. But I think it's a perfect place for now.
You just signed a new contract?
I signed for 2 years more, yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much.
How do you feel about that? It seems like you're dedicated to staying in Portland.
I feel happy because I think I did something good, something well, because they trusted me again. So it's good. And I try to be better in these 2 years.
When you first heard about MLS, when was that? The first time, not even for you to play in it. Maybe you saw a game, maybe you saw...
Diego told me about I saw some games, but he told me about the city. I never see Portland or heard about Portland. So start Google, start thinking everything. But I think why no opportunity for MLS, and now I feel very happy for my decision.
Why do you think MLS has become so popular with Argentines in particular, especially sort of the number 10 creative midfielders, attacking players, and now defenders too, midfielders, it's all up and down the league. Why is this a good place for Argentine players?
I think it's a very good league for enjoy the profession, the soccer, different to the pressure. And I think it's a league that grow up so fast every year. I think in organization and structure, everything is perfect. And now the projection for the young players is very big. So the big leagues is now start looking the MLS. So I think it's good opportunity.
When you look around the league, who are the players that you're the most impressed by?
Here?
Yeah, that you watch, that you want to see, that you're interested in how they're doing?
I had the opportunity to play with Pirlo, with Schweinsteiger, with Zlatan or Rooney or Vela, too many great players, and I stay in the very good quality physically, so I enjoy a lot.
Who is the player that maybe we don't think about that you think is really quality, that's really good?
That I don't know, or I don't think that is good.
That maybe you think people doesn't have the profile,
okay,
the reputation that maybe they should.
No, I think maybe in Argentina, Dos Santos, Jonathan, he's very polyfunctional player and very, very good. And I think they need to look him more.
Are you happy about the signings this offseason? Jimmy, and now we have, two Charas. How is that possible? That's crazy.
Yeah, Chichara. We need one more. They run. Yeah, I'm very excited every year. So now we need one or two more striker. We have a new defender too. Maybe one central midfield with Chara. So we need to be competitive this year.
Does it can't surprise you. You see it all the time. You see it in training and games. When I see Diego Chara play, I see him recover the ball and make a run. He never stops. You say run. I mean, it never stops.
I can believe the physical to Chara, but he's good with the ball too.
Yeah.
So for me, is I don't know the name in English, but no valuable, no valorate. I don't know.
Work rate. Yeah, work rate. Like
yes.
the amount of running and
yes, but
tackling.
I think for the people, he need to be more recognized, you know, because the working is very, very hard. But the last year in the MLS All-Star, he played after 9 years.
Yeah.
So I think for me, he's one of the more impressive players that I see here.
Can I show you a video?
Yes.
It's from the playoffs 2 years ago, 2018. It's after stoppage time. And there's a little bit of confusion for the Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
Little confusion. Away goals, the rule. This was I thought maybe it was funny for me. It wasn't that funny for you.
Yeah, not funny for me.
Tell me about how this situation.
I won that after that. But I told Diego, you play here 7 years and you celebrate, so I can understand.
So you're just
It's
following.
my first year, second year, but you 7 years and you tell me? I don't know.
I'm following your lead. Yeah.
But it's good because after we won the penalty, if not, what's worse, celebrate.
Yeah.
Yes. What's funny now?
Yeah, you can smile later, but only because you won that match.
That's a crazy game.
Only because you won that. That was a crazy game. What's it like to be in this rivalry?
This is one of my best game that I remember for the incredible moment, you know. Start 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, a penalty, never finish the game after penalty. So have everything.
Sounders Timbers. Can you compare that to what you've seen in your country, where so much of kind of what we understand of rivalry and it comes from other countries, and we're now understanding in our own context. But Argentina is famous for it.
Yeah, for me, I think that is one or the best or more important derby here in MLS, and I can of course compare it with some derby here, but here is very crazy the derbies. But I can because it's very passionate. There's a full stadium. We play like alive, so. It's really, really good. I enjoy.
Diego has said, Valeri, that he can see himself living in Portland long term after he stops playing. Can you see that?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I have 2 years more. After, depending if the Timber want, and depending my performance in the next 2 years. But we feel happy. We feel very good here. We love the Portland family.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Sebastian.
much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, talking Timbers, Sebastian Blanco. Props to you, man. He says he's been doing it for a year and a half, the English lessons, and he is basically fluent. So well done to you, making a home in Portland. I think he's one of the best players in the league, and now he has another forward to support him. We talked about Felipe Mora on the last show. Still not official from the Timbers side, but this one is official. Jaroslav Niezgoda. He is the Polish forward we've been talking about for a long time. Had to go through some tests apparently, but now it is sealed. He is a DP. He was with Warsaw. I believe he was the leading scorer.
Yep.
In Poland. What's this mean? Does this mean 2 forwards? Because I look at their roster and I'm like, okay, you have Abobasi, you have Mora, we assume. Now you have this DP.
Well, remember, they see Abobasi as a winger.
Well, so then they see him on the bench because you have Sebastian Blanco and Yimichara. So
Yep.
What's this mean?
I mean, our guy Sam has
Rumor.
rumor, so not a report, has said expect to see more 2 forward lineups out of this team this year.
And
So-
Mora, we know 100% is not a winger.
Correct.
He has to be. Niezgoda, from what we've heard as well, is also a guy who plays down the middle. So it's not like you're Brian Fernandez. They moved around a little, played him on the wing, played him inside. Neither of these guys really have that. So it's not like room. There's no other way this makes sense.
Yeah, unless you're going with a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2.
Yeah, and then Diego Valeri is probably not.
So
probably the
what I'm
best
saying is next week on this show, when we do the one preseason result that
Let's see
matters,
how they line up.
we should talk about the Timbers and whether they're going to line up in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2.
Okay, I already ranted about the Timbers on the last show about their offseason. I think it was a good one. Now it's time.
Niezgoda, by the way, Jamie Goldberg reported was already at a Trailblazers game. So Dame.
I know, a while ago, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought.
if you get a chance
You
to
gotta
see
sell
Dame Lillard do his thing, you got to show up.
You think he wants to end his career in Portland like my guy Carmelo?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. We'll
Next
see.
day, baby.
We'll see. Before we get to USA-Costa Rica, I do just want to talk quickly about Nacho Piatti. The annual tradition continues. Unlike any other, TWC Sports is saying that Nacho wants out. He's going to Banfield.
TYC.
What did I say?
TWC.
TWC. I don't know what TWC is, but it's not
Isn't that one of those-
Time Warner Cable.
Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that one of those networks that shows old movies?
I did just move. So
Nice.
Maybe that's where that's coming from.
We were trying to get internet
The
access.
rumors are that Sam Stejskal taken over my old abode.
Oh,
Nice.
boy. That's,
Living his
So incestuous.
he
We'll
is,
wait for Paul Tenorio to report.
look, as I told Sam, he is now living his life in my shadow.
oh,
Oh,
boy.
Lord.
Everything he's done and
Feel
will
bad
do,
for both you guys.
I've done in. I don't even want to continue
Wow.
with that analogy. We're done. We're done with that. We're done with that. Reports in Montreal say that there's been zero contact from Banfield about this. This doesn't. Is this real?
Why
'Cause
would
he wants
you-
to go to San Lorenzo?
At this point, you have Orgio Quanco, you have Lassi Lapalainen, you have Romel Kyoto, you have Balu Tabla, arguably Bojan Kirkic as well. You have 5 guys besides Piatti who their best position is left wing. Piatti is 35 years old. He missed most of last season.
Did you include
injured.
Romel Kyoto in that one?
I did. I
Okay.
probably shouldn't have, but whatever. He missed most of last season with an injury. He is one of my favorite players to watch in this league ever. But if somebody is taking him off your books, you have that spot covered. You have it. Like, he's a wonderful player. I wish he had come to the league when he was 20 and had stayed here 15 years. But he's not a necessary piece for the impact anymore. He's just not.
But are they better in 2020 if he leaves?
Are they better if he stays?
Probably.
Really?
The production you get out of him.
You wouldn't rather use that open DP slot on just get one center back, man.
You think they're going to, though? And one who, I mean, let's look at the history of DP center backs in Major League Soccer right now. I just think you bring Henry in, it's going to be a tough year, and he's going to revitalize things. I think you're a better team based on my history of watching Montreal make defensive signings and MLS teams make defensive
What
signings.
about Thiago Silva? Thiago Silva's out of contract this summer.
There's rumors he's going to AC Milan, not Montreal.
Well, pick up the phone, make
Yeah.
a call. This is a team that signed Nesta at one point.
Yeah, when he was 43.
He was like 33. I
Fine.
mean, he was not
I
in
think he
his
played
prime.
12 games in the end. Okay, I agree with you. They need a defender, and you have.
I don't think
pieces.
Ignacio Piatti is make or break for this team. That position is so well covered, and he's 35, and he missed most of last season with an injury.
He's injured the whole time, and he wants to go home. He wants his. I mean, and he's got the issues with his dad being sick. Like, I feel like his brain is already there. I don't know that he wants to necessarily stay, and that's a worry.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, this is a club that has had some issues with some of that stay or go internal drama. What's happening? You'd like to avoid as much of that in Henry's first year when his previous managerial stint had a lot of drama. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. I love Nacho Piatti. I still remember being at Azteca, Copa America, CCL final. It's 0-0. America and all the Americanistas are thinking this is going to be a waltz. And here comes Piatti to side foot one home in the box. I mean, I remember the air being sucked out of that. I remember all these moments with Nacho just putting people in a blender.
Special. There's no doubt
That's
about
why I was so sad that it didn't happen for him again last year, because you want the goodbye for Nacho. Yeah. He's one of those players that I think he's destined to also not get his due.
That's classic Montreal.
What?
He's ruining a goodbye. Right? But like, seriously, every time it's like, awkward, halfway in, halfway out. Where is he going? Is he here? And they never really have the proper like send off for a player that they've wanted.
They did for our guy Patrice, didn't they?
The one.
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Agreed.
But there was never going to be a goodbye for Patrice, right?
Yeah.
He was going to say goodbye to his playing career, and then he was going to be an integral part of that club in some way, or at least soccer in Montreal and Quebec in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And still is an assistant coach. I don't know. We'll see. This is every single year with Nacho Piatti, and I don't want to see him go, but if it's time, I guess it's time. Hey, Suze, do you care about US-Costa Rica? You putting the energy into this one?
Not
You
so
thought
much.
about this one?
Nah.
Kind of feel like I'm in the same boat. Been a long January camp that I've paid very little attention
Sad
to.
but true.
More interested in Tyler Adams' playing in the Bundesliga.
Oh, I think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so it's 3:55 on Saturday, ESPN News. Mm-hmm. I made a claim before the show that I wasn't going to watch this game.
Are you going to be helping Sam move in?
I have actually been roped into
With
one
your-
couch.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
We are
yes.
too old for this.
Yes. Come on, Weeby.
Yeah, I was a
Come
little
on.
surprised when he sent the text. and was like, "Can you help me
We are
move a
past
couch?"
this point of
Yeah.
asking friends to help
Here,
move.
you can borrow the cane
Yes.
for the weekend because you are going to be in if you move a couch, Andrew Weeby, you are not coming to work on
Yes.
Monday.
If you're watching,
I'm going to
this,
have
Sam,
to give you my medical shoes.
No.
I can't be there, Sam.
Pivot.
Tell me why I should watch US-Costa Rica and bail on Sam.
13 of the 22 players on this roster are Olympic eligible. Guys like Jackson Ewell and Reggie Cannon, who are basically in the full national team, but then also much younger guys. Uli Yanez has come from the Wolfsburg Kids. Brian Kao, who's about to sign in Germany. He's technically unattached. Julian Arujo from the right back from the LA Galaxy. Thank you. Justin Glad and Mark McKenna. These are the guys who are going to be on the field in March when the U.S. are trying to qualify for the Olympics. Teams don't have to release players for the Olympics. European teams for Olympic qualifying, European teams almost never do. Christian Pulisic, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Josh Sargent, Tim Weah, Gio Reyna, Serginho Dest. These are all age-eligible Olympic players who will not be there. I will be shocked if any of those players are in Guadalajara. The guys who are on the field this weekend, these are the guys who are going to be the core of the team that's trying to get the U.S. to the Olympics for the first time since 2008. You want a big reason to watch this game? That's the reason. We have to make these Olympics. It's a failure if we don't.
This feels like a hot potato. I'm giving this cane back to you because it just feels like it's like
Too
seeping
natural. No,
into me.
it's too natural for
It's
you,
just
Weeby.
melding itself to my hand.
He hasn't yet
that's-
accepted the fact that he's actually older than me.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty decent sell for 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon.
And then the sell after that is a lot of these guys should be future national team players. Yep. For a while, January camp was in their prime MLS dudes who had never gotten a shot at positions of need, and let's see if this guy could be a backup right back and all of this stuff. This is a continuation for Berhalter of what is 2022, what is 2026, and all of these guys, most of these guys, haven't gotten a shot at the national team. So you're seeing a Mark McKenzie, you're seeing a Uli Yanez, guys like that for the first time at the national team level. Can they compete? Can they compete against a group of Costa Ricans that they've never seen before? Can they take what they see on video? Can they take what's been explained to them? And can it work? And also, What are the ideas that Greg Berhalter locked in on year one that he is going to be pushing going forward in year two?
You gonna fire it up on Saturday, Suze? What do you think?
I'll think about it. That was enough to make me consider.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It piqued my interest.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I am very interested. I just haven't.
Forward thinking, the
I think
future, all of that. Yeah.
January just feels like it drags on.
I
And so there's
know.
never, it's not like, oh, here it is. Boom. Camps gathered. Big names. Blah, blah, blah. Who will the 11 be? It's just kind of been under the radar, but that's good. I appreciate that from you guys.
Yeah. That was a good sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two of us
Sold
there,
it
yeah.
about as well as you could have.
How about this Bobby Wood FC Cincinnati thing? It was, and now it wasn't. Would he have been a good signing for Cincinnati?
I mean, not as a DP.
Not as a DP. I completely agree with that.
I think he has 4 goals in 2 years. We know that Bobby Wood, at his best from like 2014 through 2016-17, was a really good 2 Bundesliga striker, borderline Bundesliga striker. I think if you put him in a highly functional attacking system, something like what Sporting Kansas City have, like he would have scored 15, 18 goals on that SKC team last year. Cincinnati don't have that. And I'm not sure that on a team that really struggled to build up and create chances, you want to have your number 9 be entirely service dependent. And the added thing is, like, he always misses time with injuries, and like playing a year in that stadium, maybe not the best thing for his legs.
Probably not going to happen. That's the way it seems right now. But there is someone on Twitter who knows what might happen. Jared Nienkamp's son, who tweets a lot. And he says, yes, done deal. The next forward player from a top 5 league in Europe is coming to #FC Cincinnati. Announcement soon. Is there a better, like, jubilant, obsessive, sort of like hashtag creating insane group of people in Major League Soccer than FC Cincinnati fans on Twitter? It's wonderful. I'm a big fan of it. You don't have to have a thought on that, Dave.
Do you have no thoughts on that?
Was I supposed to have a thought on
No,
that?
you
Looking at you.
Yeah, he was looking at me, and I thought he had, it was like, our communication on the field is off right now. All right. How about Fernando Adi?
Congratulations on having a child, Jared Nienkamp. Mazel tov? I don't know.
Okay, fine.
See, like, I actually...
I love
don't want
this.
to. Yeah, like we need
this is
people to
great.
get like hyped about stuff like this. Like, this is what happens in all the leagues we follow and all over the world, whatever sport it is.
Didn't
It's
go
fun.
that well in the NBA. Family members tweeting for executives of.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Find a different slang.
That's a fair point. Fair point. FC Cincinnati moved Fernando Adi
Totally
on.
normal
By the way,
collar.
right now their center forwards are Darren Maddox and Brandon Vasquez.
What up,
That's-
Rashawn Daly?
Yep.
That's the guy. Baby.
Never know what's going to get you going.
That's
Never
the
know
guy.
what's going to get you hyped up. But Fernando Adi to the crew after FC Cincinnati exercised the buyout. Cheap 9 depth. He doesn't seem
Caleb-
like he's kind of the last 2 years have been
Caleb Porter's guy.
kind of throwaway years for him.
There's.
Is he
we're
gonna be
not-
down? Is he down with being a backup? You think?
I don't. Well, I'm sure he sees himself as a starter. I'm sure he's aware of the reality around him. Basically, it's a no risk move. They basically signed him for a college draft pick level amount of money to play on their team, and if he's no good, they just ship him away, or they sit him on the bench, or they tell him not to come in anymore. There's like no risk for Columbus and only reward.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back. CJ Sapong coming right up with some interesting viewpoints on life.
So it is a corner out the other side. Gaitan. Header from Sapong! What an opening half hour for Chicago Fire and for CJ Sapong. Now on 12 goals in 2019. And Chicago Fire are flying. It's 3-0.
10 minutes with CJ Sapong of the Chicago Fire. CJ, welcome. Let's not talk about soccer. Let's talk
down.
about life, man.
Let's talk about life.
And I know that you have some interesting thoughts on life and the way it should be lived and approached. I'll just open it up to you, man.
Boom.
Tell people how you feel.
Okay. All right. Well, life, the other thing that happens when we're not all talking about soccer and stats and all that good stuff is obviously something that I think gets a little ignored sometimes, you know.
In this game or in general?
In general, we get caught doing the things that are a part of life, right? And not really recognize what life is and, you know, how we may find our purpose through it. So for me, I guess if to start on a topic, I think how I see things, no matter what, you always should revert back to yourself, right? It's easy to point at the externalities of life and see or think that things are not fair. So what I do is I just look at the man in the mirror, as MJ says, and look at where I can control my responses to my environment. At the end of the day, the environment is going to be what it is, but if I can kind of tweak the way I respond, now things around you don't have as much power over you. So that in itself, being able to have the right response to situations has made life a lot more fulfilling for me, because I recognize that I've given energy to things throughout my life that were not even real. We mentally construct things and we just reinforce them over time, and then at some point you realize that it actually had no weight or had no actual value in your life.
You learned this, obviously.
Yeah, through experience, man, through experience.
Look in the mirror. The mirror that you were looking in when you were in Kansas City versus the mirror you look in now. What's the difference?
Then life was defined by the stats, the analytics, the confirmation and feedback from outside sources, whereas now I know deep down that I've been blessed and been able to, be a part of countless little victories that make me who I am today. But with all that being said, my goals, I don't see an end really to my goals. I see it as a journey, and I'm just trying to do as much as I can in this life, leave as much of a legacy for, my family and people around me. I hope to just inspire through a lifestyle, not necessarily through my accolades or, the labels of the things that I've done. It's more about the mentality, that I feel that's what I would like to leave.
We're kind of floating up here, right? What is your lifestyle? How would you describe it?
Healthy and conscious, man. Just healthy in multiple aspects, not just the physical. Energetically, when we go, you go through a day and you might have to deal with the strict boss or those drivers that are honking at you and trying to, not necessarily trying, but adjusting your mood throughout the day. So when you get home at the end of the day, you got to also kind of cleanse that energy from you, and you don't want to go just sit on the couch or go straight to bed with all that just like sitting in your bubble. So things like meditation, reading, going outside, I have countless channels to the happiness. I think that's an important thing for people.
Are you finding happiness in soccer?
Oh, yeah. And it's more so now these days that I've been able to look at life the way that I look at it now, because I recognize, why do I need to be upset with myself because I didn't score 15 goals? I still got 13. There's little victories in there, and you have to pat yourself on the back, give yourself credit where credit is due. We as professional soccer players, we're very blessed. We are secure in our profession while we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. You get to work for like 4 hours a day and then just chill. That's not bad.
So that's something that we should always be reminded of. And, I definitely do that every day that I can. And it's brought a new life and a new vigor and a new yearning to continue to master my craft.
Where was the point where you kind of came to this realization? Because it sounds like early on, and you had the accolades. I remember when you won Rookie of the Year, and you had U.S. national team call-ups, and you were this rising prospect, and of course you're a great player still, but where was sort of the break point where you said, okay, I have to re-examine how I think about myself and about life and what I'm doing?
Yeah, just kind of exactly what you said. For me, it was maybe a month or two after winning MLS Cup in 2013. Like you said, 2011, Rookie of the Year. We had the Open Cup in 2012, and then MLS Cup in 2013. And I remember Davey Arnaud said something to me. He said, the last 3 years at this club, you have got to experience more than a lot of guys experience their whole career. And I remember hearing that and thinking, well, I still wasn't satisfied. And then we won MLS Cup. It was amazing, great times. Kansas City, the whole city was very excited about it. But then we were in the next season and we just forgot about it. And then I recognized, wow, like we're still thirsting for more, which is a good thing. However, that doesn't mean you don't soak in the true essence of what you have accomplished. You know, I feel like we won it and we're like, yeah, like that's what was expected. Okay, now go get another one. You know, instead of kind of like really soaking it in and recognizing all that went into that, all the hard work and sacrifice that went into that. So having that high and then finding yourself in the middle of a season. In Kansas City, we had a tough season after that. I guess MLS Cup hangover is what they call it. And then you recognize, like, you're etched in history, as they say. However, it was right back to work, and it was right back to, for me personally, kind of, you know, getting down on myself and maybe asking too much of myself as a player. And that's never healthy. You know, and I remember just kind of Googling, like, you know, dealing with adversity, dealing with stress, and, you know, meditation is a thing that just kept coming up for me. And at that time, I wasn't ready for it. Came across my existence again about a year later, and I just started trying it. And, you know, ever since then, I've changed just my complete outlook on life. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Do you think mental health, clearly in society, it doesn't get maybe the attention that it should because it's so widespread, either people struggling with it or have loved ones or whatever it may be? Do you think that locker rooms are an open place to explore some of these ideas?
It depends on the team. It depends on the culture of the team, because no matter what your outlook is, it's not going to be the same as everybody's. And I think the main thing that keeps people from switching their way of thinking, period, is just the unknown. It's not necessarily that it sounds bad or it sounds hard. It's just different from what people are used to. People don't like shaking things up too much because that's kind of how we're taught. Develop your routine, go to work, you know, go home, do the family thing, repeat the next day. And we get lost in that kind of like cycle. However, we don't ever kind of ask the question, like, is this what we're actually supposed to do in life? You know, then when it gets deep, people they rather kind of shy away from it than get into it.
It's hard.
It's very interesting, yeah, because what it does is it shows you your true nature. And if you're not ready to deal with that or handle it, understandably so. Like for me, there's times where I was maybe getting a little too deep into, you know, myself and why I do the things I do. I wasn't ready. Just took my time, and, you know, it's a marathon. You know, you don't have to find out the purpose of life overnight.
Yeah,
you know?
In one session and one experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty too. Life is a journey. So even if it takes to the last day for you to recognize what your purpose was, you still accomplished something. You know, maybe that's.
Or even if you just pursue it and you never realize it.
Boom. At
least you're making the pursuit. Before I let you go, I do have to ask you about the fresh start in your club's life. That's not just the logo. It's the leadership. It's a lot of things. Chicago Fire in 2020. What do you hope for?
Playoffs, man. You know, it's a solid goal. I think that we as players, the staff, and fans can resonate with. It doesn't deal with a whole lot of extra numbers and stuff. It's just doing what we got to do on game day to ensure that when playoff soccer comes around that we're playing.
I knew you were in Chicago. CJ Sapong, a new man from when I knew you back in the day. Thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks for having me, brother.
All right. Any and all thoughts on what CJ had to say, put them right into the mailbag. 401-206-0MLS. Extra time at MLSsoccer.com. I wonder where CJ will play this year, because they signed Robert Beric, and he seems like, you know, has a pedigree as a 9. Does he go back to the wing? Do they play 2 forwards?
Great questions. Can I ask a different question?
Sure.
Do you think CJ Sapong is the player in Major League Soccer that you have interviewed the most in your time?
Probably not, because there was a dry spell there for a number of years between Sporting KC and now, I would say. But early on, very possibly.
Because
he and Teal Bunbury were probably like neck and neck for the first couple of years.
But I would say he's resurfaced multiple times.
Yeah.
He always comes to events, so we've had him. I think
that's
like
true.
You interviewed him with KC a ton, and we've had him on ETR
a ton as like a guest at like they like paid him to come to MLS Cup because he's personable.
Don't talk about money. That's uncouth of you.
No, well,
he loves the game.
It's because he's so personable.
Yeah,
he's like and honestly, I was fascinated by that conversation. I could have done that for hours. Just let us know what you think about it. Speaking of center forwards, I mean, you've said this over and over, Dave. Edison Cavani would tear this league to shreds.
Boom.
I mean, he's torn every league he's been in to shreds, and now AS is reporting that Inter Miami are in for him again, and that maybe the Atletico Madrid thing is not going to happen. Something happening over here?
No, I'm just looking.
Okay. This is very Dave-ish to, like, in middle of the show, watch
Well,
what you're
Doyle's
on
doing
your
something
screen.
different. So the rumor is that they have PSG has a hard number. They're asking people to hit. Atletico Madrid's one of the teams named. Who is the other one in there? Inter Milan or AC Milan?
Or was it Juventus?
Juventus, an Italian
Whatever.
team.
Mm-hmm.
But like you have a hard number. As you said, if you're Inter Miami, that's what you have to hit. Like, you know, it's not going into negotiation and then in the last minute finding out, no, it's actually 35. Like, this is a hard number. It seems like there's a chance he could be convinced to be the centerpiece of what you do. He's kind of at that stage of his career. He would still be effective. Comes down to salary and
he would want a very large salary. Yeah. He would probably want to be paid the highest. I'd be shocked if he wouldn't be the highest paid player.
I don't
in
think
MLS.
there's a case to make for him getting a bigger salary than Chicharito.
Really?
I mean, we all know that off-field stuff matters
For sure.
just as much. And
you
like,
don't think
as
you don't
big
think
as
off the
Cavani,
field- you don't think in Miami that he would be an important off the field piece just to give you legitimacy in Miami to say,
For
hey,
sure.
we look around the league, like Chicharito is one thing, but you know he hasn't been a starter except for Leverkusen basically in Europe. This guy was the man.
I think Chicharito is a singular off the field presence.
I agree. I don't disagree.
And I'm not saying that
This is a different
Cavani
kind,
would be
though.
bad.
It's a
I
quality.
do. I also think that look, fans are more sophisticated in the U.S. than they were 10 years ago. You don't need to have a guy who had a big and wonderful European career. You could go out and get a 21-year-old from Brazil or Argentina or Colombia, and fans get it. They're like, oh, this guy gonna be our Miguel Almiron.
Will they get it if it's a slow start for Inter Miami? Does that aspect of it matter? Because if it's not an immediate hit, whereas I think Cavani would be an immediate hit,
That's a good question.
does that early momentum matter? Does anybody care? Suze, does it matter to you that they haven't filled these 2 DP slots?
No.
Because for the last
No.
3 years, it's just been kind of the constant drumbeat of like
No,
Inter
they're gonna-
Miami, DPs, David Beckham's Rolodex.
It's coming. Yeah, I'm not worried
You're not
about it
worried.
at all. No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. It's
All
coming.
right. News dump time. Minnesota United. Luis Amarilla on loan for a year from Vélez. He was the top scorer in Ecuador. This has been rumored for a long time. That was a loan. Here's another loan. Earthquakes pick up Chivas center back. El Tri as well, but those years have kind of been in the past. Oswaldo Alanis on loan. He was with Almeida.
Who won a Liga MX title with
Almeida, yeah.
and a CCL championship. I think this is an improvement at center back for them. He's going to be the starter day one. He's maybe not the best two-way center back, covering ground, passing, but he has experience running through a wall for Matias Almeida. Like, that's what you need from your players. And I think he had a little hesitancy with Kashia and as well with Harold Cummings before that of like, Alanis won't ask questions. Like, if you tell him to man mark a guy back to the other 18, he'll do it. He's experienced. One of the things to kind of remember when you talk about guys coming from Liga MX is what has been their contract situation. Liga MX does a very good job when players want to leave, that they don't want to leave or be free. They make it hard for them to play. They get blackballed. He was one of those guys. He wanted to go to Spain. He went. He came back. He couldn't find a team. He went to Chivas. They said they didn't want to play him anymore, and now he's quote-unquote damaged goods when he's still only 30. A guy who is legitimately in the picture for El Tri. Like, I think this is a really good pickup for San Jose behind the scenes.
What do you think about Amarilla for Minnesota United, Doyle? And I don't think any of us will pretend to have watched.
No, it can't be
him play,
worse than
but
Angelo Rodriguez.
If you can get a guy who's leading his league in goals and you get him on loan, like that's a no-brainer. This team, they needed a lot of attacking help, I think. Specifically, they needed some other number 9 besides Mason Toy, someone to push or maybe even start over Mason Toy. This one seems like, again, no-brainer. You make this move.
Whitecaps signed a winger, again, on loan from, I think, Hull City. He hadn't really gotten much playing time there. His best years came at Hearts. We'll see if that works out for them. Add him to the Christian Dahomey signing.
I think Hearts started Dylan Powers and Ian Harkes in a game last week.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
NYCFC signed the best singer / left back in Iceland. Gudmundur Thorarinsson. He's a very good singer. Go check it. It's like he was part of basically their American Idol.
He's going to be on the
Iceland.
call-up, isn't he?
He better be on the call-up.
Like, as soon as I saw that clip, I was like,
What would the
Yes,
duet
please.
song be?
I know. That's what I was thinking about.
Do you know any
settled.
Icelandic ballads? Something Bjorkish? Army of Me?
Ooh. I mean, I dig some Bjork.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adaptable. All right. I'm a quick
Okay.
learner.
As a pro,
I'm putting in that request now,
it.
though,
Do it.
because I feel like that has to happen.
And if you don't listen to the call up, you absolutely should be doing that. So go subscribe on
Good plug, Wiebe.
anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And I believe, I don't want to break any news here. Is there a different way people might be able to watch in the future or
There could
listen?
be. There could be.
TBD.
Stay tuned.
Yes, exactly. We're going to commercial. No, we're not. Red Bulls signed a goalkeeper, which has got to be a little concerning for my guy, Ryan Mira.
I thought you forgot his name.
No, I was just kind of giving a dramatic pause. David Jensen, who's been a starter at Utrecht. They also picked up a English right back out of the 2 Bundesliga as well from Darmstadt. He didn't really play for Darmstadt, but he had been a youth international for England. I don't know. That's not going to get the fan base riled up, but maybe those guys fit the system.
They're interested. I like to see teams scrounge for players like this who've maybe been left behind by their current club a little bit or just out of favor, because fit and opportunity are definitive for so many players. So this makes sense from the Red Bulls, but talking to that fan base, they are dying. If they could have traded for Tito Villalba, the entire fan base would have signed off on getting a player like that.
Union, speaking of some scrounging, they've done it well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying Ernst Tanner's dug around and found some great players. Reportedly interested and may sign Strømsgodt's captain Jacob Glennis. He's a 25-year-old.
I think that might be a Jakob.
It does look like a Jakob.
Yeah.
Good call there. Winston Reed may be coming to MLS. Nashville SKC. We'll run through that one. And then Giuseppe Rossi, apparently going to sign with RSL. And RSL are reportedly going to sell Jefferson Savarino to Atletico Mineiro for the same amount they bought him for.
Yeah, so the one thing interesting about that in the rumors is they would have 40% of the sell on.
Yeah.
And that's the whole
It actually
that's
makes
the whole
sense,
bit.
right? Because Brazilian teams get bank for their players. So if they sell Savarino for $2 million back to Atletico Mineiro, and then he gets sold for $7 million, that's a good bit of business from RSL. Yeah. And the reasoning here, by the way, from what I've read, is because of issues between the U.S. and Venezuela, Savarino's family
has not been able to come see his young child, I believe.
So they would be able if he was in Brazil.
That's important. In case you didn't know, I'm a father, and fathers care about these sorts of things.
You literally broke my heart.
Also, I believe that his coach at Mineiro would be the same coach that gave him all his caps with Venezuela, and there's also Copa America this summer.
Yeah. Joseph's best friend.
Yes.
So.
Joseph's not moving to that team.
No. Giuseppe Rossi, is that what?
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. Did I say? What did I say?
You've said 9 different things that are not correct.
Well, it's been a while since.
Yeah, Giuseppe Rossi hasn't played soccer in 2 years. He refused to join MLS 3 times because he was not done with his European dreams or whatever. So RSL would be an interesting place for a guy from Jersey to end up after all of this. But for them, they could use a little extra. I don't know what you want me to say. I haven't seen the dude play in
fair.
forever.
He turns 33 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right.
Feliz cumpleaños.
We will be right back with the mailbag. Caitlin from Brooklyn has some good stuff as we look into the future by examining the past. But now, Lucas Cavallini, the new number 9 for the Whitecaps. We'll be right back.
That moment okay, Christian Pulisic for me.
Here's Cavallini trying to seal it. Shot, and he does! Book it! Lucas Cavallini puts a bow on a win for Canada. That's been 34 years in the making.
10 minutes with Lucas Cavallini of the Vancouver Whitecaps. Welcome to Major League Soccer.
Thank you.
You got the smile as soon as I said that.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's good to be here, huh?
It's good, yeah.
How long was this in the making? Was this something that had been presented to you in the past, or was this the first time that you really thought, okay, maybe now is the time to make a move like this?
Yeah, well, obviously, it's every transfer window. There's always some hype to come to MLS. A lot of clubs come looking for me, but at the time, I didn't feel it was necessary. But this is a moment in my life where I had to make this decision with me and my family. So obviously, Vancouver showed a lot of interest in me, and they really showed that they needed me to fit well. They thought that was a fitting piece to this part of the puzzle. So. I'm looking forward to starting this season, and hopefully everything goes well.
Is Major League Soccer discussed in Liga MX locker rooms? Do you guys talk about the league? Do you watch the league? Was there an awareness of what's going on here and how the league is changing? I mean, we see so many players, especially in this window, but overall, starting to make that move north.
Yeah, especially now, since there's a lot of Mexican players playing in the league, and obviously when it comes to the Carlos Vela Zlatan duel, there was a lot of hype between them. So obviously in Mexico they paid attention to that, and when it comes to the playoffs, obviously there's the dressing rooms, we talk about the MLS playoffs and stuff like that. So it's growing. So it's more familiar around the world, and it's good. It's good for the environment and for the MLS.
I love CONCACAF Champions League. I have what I call the fever, man. It kills us though. We never get over the hump. Give us the secrets. How can Major League Soccer clubs better compete and get over the hump in CCL? What's the secret?
What's the secret?
To beating Liga MX in that competition. Why hasn't it happened? How can we make it happen?
Well, it's happening right now. They're stealing all the players from the Liga MX.
There you
so,
go.
Obviously it takes time. MLS is a new league, Liga MX is a league with a lot of history, and obviously it takes time to grow a league. But there's no problems here, They have what it takes to invest in a really super league. So they're on the right track right now.
What do you do as you start to make this move as far as preparation? Obviously, your body, the game, that comes naturally to you. You do it all the time. Did you watch more Major League Soccer as you started to think this might happen? Did you start to talk to teammates with Canada? Did you talk to people and just try to say, what am I going to get when I get here? What are the players that I'm going to have to deal with? What are the environments that I'm going to be in? How am I going to deal with the travel?
Yeah. No, obviously everybody tries to talk to me and suggest things, what I could improve on, and stuff that can help me. But yeah, obviously I like to prepare myself well, coming into a new league and trying to adapt as quickly as I can. So I just gotta stick with it, be confident, and just relax and enjoy it. At the end of the day, there's no pressure. You're doing what you love, and you just gotta just keep doing what you're doing.
Tanque, tell people who may not have seen you with Canada or Pueblo or your other stops, what difficulty you pose for opposing defenders.
Yeah, well, Tanque. Kind of got that.
Do you like that nickname?
Yeah, I like it. I'm used to it now anyway. I got that down in Uruguay. So, just one of those players that likes to get behind those defenders and drive them crazy, 90 minutes. So, I like to do that, I like to step on the pitch and see the faces of the defenders saying, "Oh, we got this guy coming at us again." So, I kind of made a name for myself in that. So, I like that they respect me, So,
who are you looking forward to playing? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
Toronto. Yeah, for sure.
Walk me through that. What's that first game going to be like?
Oof, stepping on my hometown pitch. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know what to expect, but I'll be ready.
Give him a little taste of what the hometown boy can do.
Exactly.
Who's your best friend on that team?
Jonathan Osorio.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Pride of Brampton.
Yeah. But yeah, we have a long history together.
How's Canada right now? How do you
really
feel
good
about it? Because you guys are on that precipice.
No, really good. Obviously, what people have seen, it's a new generation. Really interesting. A lot of talent, a lot of really good players, and a lot of key players that are playing in important leagues all over the globe. So it's interesting. We're capable of doing a lot of damage this year, as we did last year. Obviously, still got a lot of work to do, but we're on the right track. We just gotta stick to it, and obviously we have what it takes to qualify for the next World Cup, for sure.
What would playing in a World Cup mean to you?
Everything. It's something a kid dreams of, especially for a Canadian boy growing up. Seeing your national team play. You would never expect your national team to qualify again for a World Cup, but now it's different. Now everything has changed. We have improved a lot. So, it'd be the best part of my career, playing in a World Cup.
How much responsibility do you feel, knowing the way you felt when you were a boy and you looked at the team and you thought, probably not going to happen, and now you're a part of a generation that can make it happen, that can not just make it happen for yourself, but maybe change it for the boys that are growing up right now?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, that's the the main objective we want us players of the national team want to do. We want to change the face of Canada and how they think of soccer, how we can improve that for the youth, give them opportunities to play professional soccer in Canada and make people think differently of Canada. We're not just a participating team. We're a team that competes to anything, to qualify or to win a Gold Cup. We're on that track. We're trying to do that. It's all a process, but we're getting there, and obviously we have done well in doing that. So we just got to keep to it.
All right, last one. Vancouver Whitecaps last year, not the way they wanted it. You're a big part of how they want to change it. Exactly. What do you hope for this year?
I hope to help the team as much as I can. They brought me in for a reason. Obviously, as a striker, you have to score a lot of goals that they have been lacking. So I'm confident in myself, confident in this team, and obviously, if I have the confidence of my coach and the staff, everything will turn out well.
Tanque in Major League Soccer. Lucas, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Take care.
Enjoy yourself.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks to Lucas for hanging out a little bit in L.A. It's mailbag time, 401-2060-MLS. Extra time at MLSsoccer.com. This is our first TBT of the year. You may have heard. It may have been pounded into your head. This is the 25th MLS season. Did you know that? Well, we're going to talk about a lot of the past now. And if you want to send us prompts, maybe like Kaylin in Brooklyn did. Yes, that Kaylin. MLS Time Machine time.
Newly of Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's barely in Brooklyn. He lives across the street from a Starbucks. So he's like...
He spends time in Belgium, in Canada,
Sevilla.
In Spain.
He's a jet setter. It says, get in your MLS Time Machine, guys. Bring a former star in the condition they played in MLS forward to modern day. Who are you choosing? That's Kaylin. You can send us your prompts, your thoughts, or just like a player to reminisce on and remember. We'll do it every single Thursday. Who you bringing forward? We'll start with Old Man MLS, a.k.a. Doyle.
Easily Clint Mathis. Like prime Clint Mathis, circa 2000, 2001, before the ACL injury. Everybody remembers that great goal he scored in 2002 World Cup. He did that like 12 months after he had busted the hell out of his knee. Like prime Clint Mathis was ridiculous in terms of just like his approach to the game, the stuff he would try. He was just so much fun, and I would love to see him in this league right now.
That's why he's here.
That's why he's here. That's our guy.
You hear that every single time. I love it. He would also be a force of nature off the field too. Where would you put him? Would you go straight back to Red Bull with him? Because you got to get him into the clubs. He's got to be like running the social circuit.
I actually think that, he's from Greater Atlanta. I think that if you had Cletus and Joseph playing for that team with that, that would, the mind fairly reels at what they could accomplish off the field. And for those of you who are too young to have really watched a lot of Clint, he had a little bit of everything. He had speed, he had power, he was a goal scorer, but he's one of the best passers the U.S. have ever had too. If you go back and you watch the highlights of the first Dos a Cero, that pass he hits to Josh Wolf in those circumstances, I still think it is the greatest pass any U.S. national team player has ever hit.
Reminisce. Go watch some highlights. Fire up YouTube. Dave, you have a name that's jumping off?
Well, I said Jorge Campos in the last one just because of the pure novelty of a guy playing forward and goalkeeper. And
is there a team that needs a little bit of goalkeeper help but also forward help that we could just plug him into?
Yeah, probably. Every team.
Yeah, no.
Every team needs a center forward. He could play for LAFC. He would come in at center forward in the 75th minute, like BWP might, for a goal.
BWP is already out of camp.
The other one?
LAFC,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you ruined it, Wiebe.
I know.
The other one I would say, just off the top of my head, because I didn't know I was going to come back on this.
Gotcha.
If it was a guy that I could pick that played in MLS and go back in their career and bring them prime time.
Right. No, but it has to be during the MLS years that they were here.
But I'm going to change that and say Vicente Sanchez, because he would destroy Major League and was a legend. For MLS terms, I'd say David Ferreira. I'd love to see him play.
Oh, that's a good one.
9 years later, also with Jesus, would be pretty legendary.
Yeah.
Not sure that's how that works, but he also still plays, I think. David Ferreira is still playing.
I thought he just retired. No, Christian Gomez just retired. And Christian Gomez's son just signed with DC's USL team.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, he's 20, yeah.
Can we get Luciano
Wait.
Emilio's son in there too?
I
How
love
can we get
Luciano.
how can we
That
get all
just
the
got me
legends? Does Branko Boscovich have a son?
Stop, Wiebe.
Does
don't
Hamdi
do that.
Salihi have offspring?
Don't disrespect Luciano Emilio though, and Christian
Dude,
Gomez. with
Luciano
this
Emilio, when
conversation.
I first started being about MLS, was a god.
Yeah.
He was the Golden Boot winner. He was just scoring for fun. Anybody jump off the top of your head here, Suze? Can I?
I'm basic. I'm like so basic, and I don't know if this is harking back.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Like, I just give me David Beckham all day.
Like 2007,
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Era,
Not a
David
bad-
Beckham. Yeah.
just-
It's not a bad call. That's
just
not a bad call at all.
Injected into my veins.
I am going through a couple guys in my head. I can't choose from Carlos Ruiz
Oh, that's a
in
good
those
one.
early Galaxy days.
That's a good
He does not get enough love ever.
Yeah.
That's a good
Preki in his
Preki.
Preki in his,
Yeah.
his MVP KC days.
Imagine nowadays with like tape and video analysis of just like being in a session, being like, "Don't fall for it, don't fall for it."
Right. That's definitely going to be an Instagram
And it doesn't
compilation
matter.
for him. And then I just think about guys like an Eddie Pope. Certainly Marco Echeverri, I think, is like a very, very obvious one. I mean, Kalen, we have to say for Kalen, Cuauhtemoc Blanco. Bring him
Kalen
back
also
right now.
brought up Alexi Lawless and like some
Yeah.
of those '94 World Cup guys of like Alexi, the way he talks, the music, the hair, all that stuff. Like, what would it be like?
Kobe Jones would be
Kobe
another one in
Jones,
that
for
sort
sure.
of
Winalda.
in that vein.
Even though
Yeah.
Winalda never really lit it up in MLS, he was already pretty well injured by the time MLS started. If you had taken prime Waldo from like 92 to 95 or so and thrown him in MLS, an American goal
added-
scorer like that.
And added Instagram to the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah. Or just Twitter. I mean, just like already Twitter. That
That's
could
better.
be good stuff.
Yes.
And another one that just kind of like I would love to see now because he was so good then is Juan Pablo Angel. I just feel like that when he came into this league and what he did, I wonder if he could do that again or how we would sort of like measure MLS's progress in those terms.
Spotted in New York City by a friend of the show, Elliot Tomes, the other day. Just walking down the street, JPA. That's an impressive human being.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it from us. Thank you for listening. We will be back after this weekend. Enjoy that U.S. game on Saturday. We'll break it down on Monday. And if you have a preseason result that you want us to
Wiebe, I'm gonna stop antiquing
say matters,
just to watch that.
kinda.
game.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, Antique. Anything on your wish
Oh,
list?
I love
Cutting off
antiquing.
antiquing to go
Are you?
watch the USA game.
No, you're not.
Oh, we got to talk,
antiquing has to be
guys.
done by
Have you told
3:50.
Megan that?
Megan knows. Come on, it's on ESPN News. You gotta watch something.
Yeah,
when it's on
okay, that's
ESPN.
fair. I do want to know though. Do you have a target in mind for your antiquing?
No, I'm just
A
going
nice
to.
armoire.
First time you've ever gone antiquing?
I'm not. I'm going to
it's
the
so fun.
Catskills.
So you're going antiquing.
So I figured the way you get there is through Antiquingvilles.
Yeah.
So you guys can
Pretty
give
sure
me
that's
advice.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
Yeah. So I know zero things about this. I guarantee you I won't buy anything.
You don't never
Don't
say never.
never say never.
Wow.
Never say never.
Just invited the evil eye. Kinahara.
Last one for me, Raul Diaz Arce, and we're out of here. We'll see you next time, everybody.